entire experience being something special. It's sort of the situation. It's a New Japan show in America against Cody, whose family has a history with the building. If I wasn't in the position to be in the main event in this building against someone like Cody Rhodes, or Cody,
yeah,
then then it wouldn't feel as special. It's the outside factors that sort of add up with the building to make it this special feeling and this responsibility to make it a good kind of classic matchup. Not just the building itself. That's just sort of a detail. But the fact that I'm wrestling in a building that I never thought I would have a chance to wrestle in is really cool, of course.
I just wonder, what do you think is the current state of Bullet Club? I mean, it kind of seems like this could maybe be a point where it schisms and goes a million different directions, or is this a chance for you to take leadership back by beating Cody?
I've sort of said it on social media. I've alluded to the fact that this could mean more than just the title itself. This could actually be for the leadership of Bullet Club. If Cody wanted to make the appeal that yes, by defeating me, by taking my title, he is the rightful leader of Bullet Club, it's hard for me to dispute that. He has proven that not only as someone who's defeated the champion in a singles match twice now, if he does, that he could make the claim to be the champion and the leader, but also he, outside of the Bullet Club, outside of New Japan, outside of Ring of Honor, he has helped promote one of the most successful events with All In. That to me displays leadership ability. Of course, I am always actively pursuing my own outside projects. I'm always actively pursuing things that can help the growth of professional wrestling, that can help the growth of our brand, my brand, the Elite brand, the Bullet Club brand. But Cody, on his own, is also doing the best that he can and doing a great job of it. So, though it's always a team effort, the Bullet Club, I never feel like, being the leader is simply just a title to me. I feel that we all have roles and that we all contribute equally in our own special way. But to have a clear defined leader, I feel that maybe if Cody does win this match, he could easily make the claim that he is just that, and I would be happy giving him leadership of the Bullet Club. Whether that means I'm out or I'm in, I don't know, cross that bridge when I get there. But I feel that this match means more than simply just the IWGP Heavyweight title. But for me, this comes first, the Bullet Club comes second. All the backstage stuff we can deal with afterwards.
You talk about outside projects. How much freedom do you have with New Japan to do outside projects, and how much creative freedom does New Japan Pro Wrestling give you in the stories you tell them in the ring?
Right. So, New Japan is very receiving to my ideas. We have a very it's a very trusting relationship that's developed over the course of the past few years. And if I feel in my heart that there's something that can truly benefit our company and the growth of professional wrestling and our brand, usually they trust me with it without question. Of course, they're going to want to know details. They're going to want to know, how is this going to help us? How is this going to help you? What's the risk involved? Do you need time off? How much time off? Those are just the details. But for the most part, everything that I do is for the positive growth of New Japan, the Kenny Omega brand, the Bullet Club brand, the Elite brand. I never really do anything selfishly. The side projects are all for a higher purpose, and every time I have presented an idea to New Japan, especially lately, they've been more than receiving of that. So I hope to do more cool and exciting things in the future, and there is stuff in the works. It's just due to contractual obligations and all that, I can't speak about them right now, but always exciting stuff in the future, and it's stuff that I hope transcends pro wrestling. What we do in the ring, it speaks for itself. I can have a million 5-star matches. I can have 6-star matches, 7 stars. I might even have an 8-star match eventually. But there's going to be a bar that you just can't break. There's going to be a bar that can no longer be raised, and I feel that the New Japan quality you know, that quality that we present in the ring has been established worldwide. People know what to expect when you watch a New Japan product. And now I think it's time for us to reach beyond that and show that we're more capable than just being guys that tell good stories in a ring, that can wrestle in a ring. Because, I mean, you look at other sports, look at golf, you look at soccer, you look at football. A lot of their top superstars, they're doing things outside of their sport, and they're representatives for, you know, name whatever product. And, you know, that's how they extend their brand, that's how they extend their reach. And it also gives them the ability to have their voice be heard in other communities and give you the floor to extend a positive message. And I think maybe not so recently, but pro wrestling was kind of viewed in a negative light. And when you hear the word professional wrestling, there's negative connotations that go behind that. So I think now, as professional wrestlers, we could be sort of the inspirational athlete again. We can be people that, you know, have a positive message for the community. We can be people that help, you know, other children and people and athletes and everyone out there striving to be the best person they can be. And I think we can do that by sticking to what we do in the ring, but I also think we can do that in other things as well, in other forms of media.
Kenny, tomorrow's the perfect
Yes.
storm of exposure.
Yep.
Jim Ross calling, it's live.
That's right.
It's, I think in terms of North American fans, it's such a great opportunity to expose them to your product.
Mhm.
How will you prepare any differently tonight, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon? Can you kind of walk us through, I mean, is there a stretching routine? Do you put your headphones on, you listen to music? What do you do before the match, especially pro wrestling, pro basketball, doesn't matter. This is a big opportunity.
That's true.
Curious how you prepare.
Yeah, so of course nutrition is always important. You want to make sure that you're taking in the proper nutrients and that you're hydrated and so on and so forth. Of course, feeling physically fit and being physically capable of doing what you do is very important. I have to make sure that I'm limber. I have to make sure that I'm going to have the energy in the tank to do what I have to do. What I do in the ring is very dynamic. I go from 0 to 100 very quickly. It's tough to kind of ease into my style of wrestling. So before even the opening bell, I have to make sure that I can recruit those fast twitch muscle fibers on a moment's notice. So the preparation beforehand is very important for what I do in the ring. Of course, in New Japan, we have such a wide variety of styles, so everyone's going to give you a different answer. I'm sure the way I prepare is much different than how someone like Zack Sabre Jr. would prepare. But for me, who kind of relies on his explosiveness in the ring, I have to make sure that I'm not going to blow a gasket, you know, the first time I have to do a sprint or whatever, or a leap or something like that. So the physical part is of course important. Mentally, that is the more complicated part. Generally up to this point, I sort of have that moment of silence, where I can collect my thoughts and make sure that I'm prepared mentally. But especially for the American events, we're always kind of slammed with media and various interviews and fan events and so on and so forth, that we don't really have those moments of silence. We can't really find, you know, that place where we can retreat to collect our thoughts. So we have to, for example, if I'm more used to having, you know, a 12-hour window before a match to find that place, you know, that window becomes 24 hours before, and I only have a 1-hour window to find it. But that's sort of the challenge, you know. I'm trusted with this responsibility to carry this belt. I'm trusted with the responsibility to main event not only matches in New Japan and Japan, but in foreign countries as well. And if you have to find that place, you do whatever you can to get there. And there's really no excuse. You can't, if I bomb, if I have a stinker, I can't just say, hey man, it's because, you know, I was doing all these interviews and such. Just no, it's not going to carry any weight. You just have to evolve. You have to find ways to be that guy. And if you can't be that guy, there's someone else who's chomping at the bit to be that guy. And I've made the appeal that I wanted to be that guy. So regardless of the situation or the scenario, I'm going to make sure that I can be.
No headphones, no music?
You know what? Yes. When I'm alone, especially for the G1, headphones and music, yeah, I'm always listening to something because I'm absolutely alone.
I know Mick Foley was David Allen Coe's The Run. Is there one song that you kind of play on repeat?
Actually, believe it or not, lately the song that's really been kind of getting me going was someone as kind of a famous, I don't know what you'd call him, like a nerd rapper. His name's Mega Ran.
Sure.
Real cool dude, yeah. He remixed the Golden Lovers theme, and I've been listening to that, and it's been just badass. And the way he's put together the lyrics, I'm like, yeah, this guy really gets me, and it kind of gets me in that zone. So I've been listening to, like, you know, when I'm brushing my teeth or doing my hair or whatever, I got the Mega Ran Golden Lovers remix on repeat. So, and I urge everyone to check it out if they can.
Kenny, Mega Ran's very associated with video games.
Of course.
And now you and the Bullet Club, you've been associated with Street Fighter. Now you have the association with Pac-Man.
Mhm.
How does it feel for the greatest faction in wrestling to be associated with some of the greatest video game properties of all time?
I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. I mean, these are things that excite me. You know, I'm actually genuinely passionate for these projects. You know, New Japan always sort of, they go out of their way to seek out these collaborations. And it's not just specific to video games. I mean, they've done, like, you know, beef bowl places, they've done alcohol, they've done, I don't know, maybe they've done cigarettes and horse racing. Just, we have crossed over into so many realms. And up until now, it's sort of been like, okay, so for the horse racing, it'll be you. And then for the beef bowl, it'll be you. And you know, for the video game thing, I don't know, how about you guys? They never really specifically found, you know, the most appropriate role for each. And now I sort of made them feel like, hey, you know, we have guys that are passionate about their beef bowls. We have guys that are passionate for the horse racing, passionate for their video games. Like, let me be the representative for anything video game related. I can tell you, I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm passionate about it. I'm not gonna let you guys down, and I'll actively promote these things. So the crossover with the video game stuff, I'm very happy to announce that, you know, we'll be doing more in the future, and there's going to be some big things in the future. And what's cool about that is like, I'm able now to somewhat take the reins. It's not just the company who are seeking these roles for me. They're kind of giving me the ball and saying, here, just you find stuff. You let us know if you can find anything. And then from there, you know, we can have the business meetings to hook everything up. And like I said, I can't announce things as of right now, but there's some exciting things in the future that, you know, New Japan is going to be involved with, and I'm going to be involved with, or Bullet Club or Elite. And it's been nothing but a pleasure to work on them because it's what I like to do.
Kenny, real quick. You're originally from Canada, and you've made your name over in the Far East. Now you're bringing the title from New Japan over to North America and defending it here.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel to, you know, make your name over there and now be a representative of that company in your home continent while defending the world title?
You know, for me, I'm now I'm a Japanese citizen, but, you know, Canadian-born Japanese citizen. So I feel like, you know, where is my home? It's just, I feel like there's multiple homes, and especially when I go to a new country, the reception is always so warm. That place instantly feels like home. So for me, there's no added pressure or there's no added responsibility to carry the belt to another country and feel like I have to perform better for this place or this place or this place. Every place to me is a priority, which is why I insisted on having a title match here in America. If we ever go to Canada, I'm going to insist on having a title match. I want every fan that follows New Japan Pro Wrestling, that stays up late, you know, because the time zones are so wacky, I'm going to want to give them the best possible product. One thing that I sort of regretted in the past Long Beach show was that, you know, we didn't have enough title matches. I was able to main event the show with the Golden Lovers against the Young Bucks, but I sort of felt like, you know, why didn't Okada force the issue? You know, we should be defending the belts at these shows. We shouldn't make these feel like house show appearances, because they really are special. We never get out of the country that much. I mean, sure, we're doing it more often now, but it's still, like, you know, once every 2 or 3 months. So I think each and every one of these performances should be important, and they should feel important. And, you know, fans that do travel a long ways to watch these shows should feel like there's something at stake. So as long as I'm champion, I'm always going to push to have a defense on these shows.
We have to, sorry, I think we got a poll. I'm so sorry. But is it a real quick question?
It's a quick question.
Okay, real quick.
With New Japan announcing more shows in the U.S. later this year, if you could pick one city after those shows are done to go to next in the U.S., where would it be?
I mean, might sound strange, but maybe a place like Alaska. Like, it's and the reason why I say that is because it seems like geographically that would be the most difficult place for, you know, inhabitants of Alaska, citizens of Alaska to travel outside of, to get to. So, like I said, I feel like if we're already making the strides to visit these new and exciting places, I want to make it so that it's as fair as possible for everyone to get to the places that we're going to. Of course, we can't travel to every state, we can't travel to every country, but for ease of travel and to kind of spread our wealth, so to speak, it'd be cool to do that. And I'm not sure how much wrestling is in Alaska. I know they do have independent promotions, but for me, that sounds exciting. I think we would reach a lot of new people, and the people there would probably also appreciate it as well.
All right, well, thank you, Kenny, for your time. You'll be seeing them again tomorrow. I'm sure everybody's gonna be there tomorrow. You'll see these guys again. Thank you very, very much. Thank you for all that time. Yes, great answer so far. Thanks, Kenny. Okay, I think we're getting the young bucks. Let's open that door and get some air, eh?
Thank God.
Woo!
And in this corner in Philly,
We got some people being quiet out there. It's loud. Always loud.
This power's not out.
Yes. Oh, why
Yeah,
did it
there's
jinx
that,
us?
man.
Don't say that.
I got here when they were calling PG, so.
Here they come. All right.
excuse me.
Gents, we're gonna have you
So
go
sorry,
that
the
way
meet and
around.
greet is going to start in 10 minutes, so we only have really 5
Okay.
minutes or so. I'm so sorry.
All right.
10?
You guys can share that mic. Okay? Go at it, guys.
All right.
Do I have questions?
A lot of people in this little room.
Yeah. It'll get warm in a second.
So what's the next Pokemon on your list?
There's a hat, or a Pikachu with a hat on or something like that.
Yeah, the red hat?
But I have no service here, so I can't find it.
Yeah, being the elite cinematography has been growing by leaps and bounds. It's changing the game. The same way Colt Cabana changed the podcast game, Young Bucks are changing the YouTube and Hot Topic game. What game do you guys plan to change next?
Oh man.
Pokemon Go. I didn't even see you here, Kevin. How are you, by the way?
Good, sir.
Good to see you.
I don't know. It's hard to say because we knew we were going to get into the YouTube aspect of things. Now I don't know what's.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Like I feel like we're always trying to think 10 steps ahead. So as soon as something starts trending upwards, I'm sure we'll have eyeballs.
We got into YouTube very late.
We did.
Very late.
We
Like
did.
I think it's been 2 years now.
Yeah.
Or about a year and a half. But we used to do something very similar to what we do now, which was called what was it called? It was
YBTV
yeah,
back in like
Young
2008.
Bucks TV.
Do not go look for it. It's terrible.
But it was almost exactly what you see now with being the elite. But we had that vision back then, but we just weren't popular enough for it to catch on. So, man, but I just want to keep growing this right now. I don't know what's next.
Man,
Hopefully we see
yeah,
it.
it's like, God, if there's something that everyone says, oh, yeah, that'll never happen, that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the stuff that we're currently doing, people are like, there's no way that'll ever happen. I'll go, okay, I want to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All the things, I just want to provide more opportunities and alternatives for the boys. Like, let's all make money. Like, hopefully the fact that our Funkos are selling, maybe everyone will get a doll,
maybe it's
you know?
promoting.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, we're doing that too on September 1st with the show.
Yeah, so maybe we,
yeah.
you know, we've always loved running our own show. We used to do it back in the day, 15 years ago.
Right.
And we were just kids then. So now I think if we really wanted to run our own actual promotion, we could probably do it and we could probably succeed at that. So maybe that's next.
I'd like to make a movie too one day.
Yeah,
Maybe
that'd
it'd
be
be
cool.
straight to DVD, who knows, but I'd like to make a movie.
He's starting to write now, so maybe that there's one thing.
Yeah, I wanted to be an author,
Yeah.
so I made a children's book. That's coming out soon. I don't know. I just want to do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk about furthering yourself, and not only that, but like the brand itself. And myself being an employee of Hot Topic, when we first got all the Bullet Club stuff, all of my coworkers had no idea what it was. They didn't really care. And seeing the reach that customers had, saying, "I'm not sure what this is, but this
Sure.
looks cool." What is that? What is that like for you guys to have an outreach completely different from wrestling? All the
Yeah.
kids coming into Hot Topic.
Dude,
things
it's
like
crazy.
that.
It's funny you mentioned that because the other day I went into my local Hot Topic in Victorville, California, and I'm checking out one of the Funko Pops, and the guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, if you're interested in the Funko Pop, Young Bucks Funko Pop, there's also the Young Bucks a Funko Pop T-shirt available on the wall right there. And I said, oh, really? And I was playing along like I was going to just sell for him. And then my wife's like, starts laughing. And the guy's like, what? He's like, oh, he's one of the guys in the box. And the guy's like, what? And he started freaking out. But it was funny because he knew exactly what the products were, but he had no idea who I was, which was fine with me. I'm like that's okay. Like I want the brand to be big because like it's comparable to like music. Sometimes like you've heard the song, but you don't know what the guy who sings the song. You know what he looks like. Yeah, it's like you've heard about the Young Bucks, maybe not necessarily you know who they are. That's fine with me. Like, who cares? It's cool. But yeah, it blows my mind. It's like now there's kids that are probably wearing my T-shirt. And I know this for a fact. They're wearing a Young Bucks T-shirt, and like, cause I've had it happen to me. I went like I get Disneyland. I'm like, hey, nice shirt, and the guy's like, oh, thanks. Like he has no idea who I am. So I'm like, that's cool. Most of the time they know who I am, but it's cool when it doesn't happen.
Hot
to you.
Topic
like, yeah, right.
changed the game for us.
Yeah.
Now I feel like fans saw us as stars, but then our stuff got into retail stores, and it was like, these guys are superstars.
Sure.
It's a complete different look now for fans. I feel like it.
Yeah, that's so true. It's like they said that Amazon's killing like retail business, but it's like everybody still loves going to the mall, man. Like,
yeah, that's true.
There's something about going to the mall. It's fun, and you like to come home with the product, and it's like a souvenir,
It's great, and you could go to any mall and buy our products. So that's what made us turn into actual stars. I feel like
that social media. We're just more accessible because of social media and having a T-shirt in a retail shop.
But it took our fans to go out and buy it and make the demand crazy and make that become.
Waiting for shipping sucks,
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you find yourself selling more at the Hot Topic stores than online?
No, it's split.
You would think, right? Because like we have this T-shirt. This is the hottest shirt we've ever put out.
I didn't even know they had a Pro Wrestling Tees sale. On July 4th?
Yeah.
I didn't even know about it.
It ended today.
And it started in like midday. We had sold 500 T-shirts. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Why are we doing so well?" He didn't even know.
He's like, "Why are we getting so many alerts today?" I'm like, "Well, it's kind of a sale going on. It's kind of a big deal."
I would say it's still split. It's crazy.
It still is split. I was concerned about that because I was like, should we keep an exclusive shirt on the site and not give it to Hot Topic, or vice versa? And then, like, I talked to Hot Topic, and they're like, no, we don't care. Like, put it out online.
Our fans are so dedicated that they buy everything everywhere. It's unbelievable. Like the day our Funkos came on sale at the actual stores. My Twitter was flooded the whole day. I couldn't even load it.
I heard in 24 hours we did 5,100 units.
Good.
Which they were like, that's incredible. Because they ordered, I think they ordered like 30,000.
And most of those fans send us the tweets, so we see all of it. And it just blows my mind how crazy of an impact we've had on a lot of these fans. Like, it's awesome. It's great.
Send the Funkos and then send a copy off to Cornette.
I think he's getting enough of that in his timeline at this point. He's fine.
The ladder war match?
No, it's fine.
Go ahead, Justin. What's up?
The ladder war match, which is arguably your most compelling in Lowly. I know you guys stayed up the night before and watched all the TLC matches. Is that something you normally do to prepare? Like tonight, will it be something you watch, or you guys have a conversation, or it's going to be something you do tomorrow? I'm just curious, preparation. You guys are so...
Man, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't prepared at all for tomorrow's match. I've been on vacation mode. Matt and I actually had a week off, which we haven't had in 2 years.
Well, actually, that was 2 weekends ago. We wrestled last week.
Oh, you're right. I'm still on vacation mode. Obviously, you could tell. So
we were just in like Baltimore. Right?
So I'll be honest, I'm not really prepared for tomorrow, but I probably will watch the last match we had with these guys at Dominion, just to try to get some ideas. But I have thought of nothing for tomorrow. So.
I've thought of a little, like, man, I'm so on about wrestling and writing, being the elite stuff. Like, I have insomnia.
Wrestling comes last now, too.
Sure. It kind of does. The actual moves and
stuff.
To
the point where Matt actually annoys me backstage. I'm like, come on, let me just focus on the match. No, we got to get this skit film.
Yeah, I'm like, we're filming Being the Elite. Dude, what are you thinking right now?
To the point where it's annoying.
Like, I gave Being the Elite a separate call time last week, and that really made everyone pretty upset, actually.
One more question.
Yes. So, one of the most fun part about seeing you guys grow as like the Young Bucks brand is seeing you guys just conquer different sorts of branding and stuff, like the T-shirts, like the Hot Topic, like the Funko Pop. So, what is either realistic or your dream, like next step in the Young Bucks brand, like a video game,
it's a good question
or something?
At this point, I used to think everything you named was unrealistic, and now it is. So it's almost hard to think of something that can happen.
Yeah.
Maybe we have our own TV show next.
Maybe.
Like I wouldn't think that's impossible now because we've done so many weird things like on our own. So maybe that's it. Or,
I personally would like to turn my book into a series. So like every character on Being the Elite gets their own book. I think that'd be fun. Our initial pre-orders are really strong, so I think that's probably an option. That'd be one, like for the near future for me. That'd be a fun thing.
We've had offers for Being the Elite on TV, but we haven't really ever accepted anything because we like the creative control on a lot of things that we do. So, and we don't care about money as much as people think, and we like to have our fingerprints on everything that we do have control over. So it's hard to just give away something like that, but who knows? Maybe a TV show if we can get the contract right.
You could probably do like what's that thing like Punked, where you just super kick.
Sure. And I mean, and you ask us what's what's in the future? Who knows, man? Like,
of course.
Contract season's coming up. We don't know what we want, and I can't ever say we're never gonna go. I'll just say it, the WWE, the three letters everybody's afraid of saying. We don't know. Like, we don't know what we want. Like, if the right offer comes, we gotta at least entertain it. Like, we're family men, we're fathers, we gotta do what's best for our families. That's basically what it comes down to, I think, at this point. So.
Since you brought it up, what was up with WWE following you on Twitter after?
I don't know.
I saw that.
I have a really good Twitter account, so I don't blame
Maybe
them.
that's why.
Yeah.
But Matt and I followed WWF right after that as a little laugh for, for the two of us.
A few people got that one.
Not many got it, though.
Very few.
The Pandas?
Yeah, that one. Actual at WWF.
Yeah, that bit kind of bombed, I think.
Yeah, it did.
Meanwhile, they're hosting a marathon for us tomorrow. They guys did a
Yes,
great
we are.
job.
That's right, we are.
We sat in the studio for 8 hours. Can you believe that? 8 hours at the Access.
I don't think that's real.
It's not
It wasn't
real.
either.
We peeked about an hour footage.
One take wonders. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that was a blast.
That was fun.
I'm excited to see it on TV tomorrow. So.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, tune in.
I got one more. Any updates on who you guys might be wrestling it all in? I know there's.
It changes every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
I gave you a new match today, maybe.
I gave you a new match. You gave me a new one, and then Cody sticks with the same one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's changing every second.
Yeah,
It's so weird.
not sure.
We're not married to it yet.
We have our. Man, actually, no, that one changed too. I was about to say we have our main event plan, but
that changed
I
too?
think it's changing. So everything is changing.
I wish everyone knew the million moving parts going on.
And that's why we announced Marty and Okada, because we're like, we need some matches that.
I didn't even
change.
want to announce that because
Yeah.
who knows, you know?
Yeah, so I probably in the next couple weeks we'll know for sure what we're doing.
Yeah,
So
we're getting there. It's narrowing
stay
down.
tuned for that as well.
Is there any chance, guys, that fat ass Masa may become lean ripped Masa at some point? You got on that Young Bucks diet. and
That'll
training
take a few
program?
years for him.
He likes TJ Fridays way too much, so I don't think so.
He's
My
one of our
favorite
best
Japanese
friends.
cuisine.
He'll be in Chicago.
Yeah.
He'll be in All In. So.
I think they want to pull you, but anybody have one more question?
Sure.
You guys got anything?
Now that you guys are heavyweights, is there any chance we see the two of you in something like a G1 tournament in the future?
I don't think they can
man.
afford us for
We-
5 weeks.
we would have-
shoot. I don't think I could.
Yeah, I don't know if they would be able to. That and man, I don't want to do any singles matches.
No, I couldn't do one singles match, let alone 35 or how many they do.
I told Matt though, maybe one day.
Never.
Like if ROH wants us to do some singles matches,
Maybe. I
but
could
for
never.
a full tournament,
I
don't
couldn't
know.
survive it. I couldn't do it. No.
The money would have to be right.
No, not even that. No. No thanks.
All right. I think they need you for the meeting.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
I know. Thank you. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right.
We'll meet and greet.
Okay. So awesome. These people are so friendly. It's a great sport, isn't it?
Yes.
Where do you get this? Where do you get athletes like this? Lovely. Sean, are we getting more people, or are we have a little break? Oh, okay. Let's
Unless
keep
we
that.
want- I mean, we
Let's
can
get
take
some
a
air.
break too.
Huh?
I mean, whatever it is, it's getting hot in here right
Yeah,
now.
keep it open. Yeah,
So we
for
can find a
that.
fan.
Sean, do we have more bottled water?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, let's
Should
bring
be
that
where it
in.
goes in here. It's right underneath.
Do you guys, that's our water. If you guys want water, we have water back there. Maybe we can put up one. I don't know if we need it up here for the speakers. Is there a lot of water down there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, pass them out for everybody.
How many need that? Costco.
Sorry that I'm not better hostess here. I'm making you do all my work. It's just too tight.
Trying to steady. Yeah.
special.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, right.
We're keeping the door open, that helps.
You're making the rest of us look better. Thank you.
Oh, there he comes.
I need my wife.
Yeah, they have 2 chairs. Yeah.
My name.
We keep it.
It's gonna be out there anyways.
Well, maybe because I got home and there
Baby, you,
Hey, right on.
Hello.
Come on in.
Up in there, tight squeeze.
Yes, sorry, it's hot in here.
Nice shoes.
How do you want
Nice
it?
shoes.
There you go. Good, hello.
Just make sure with the wiring.
I'm not listening, but they're metering, and with the mic, I think you're gonna be fine.
Okay. I think we're okay leaving the door open.
Yeah, if they keep quiet down there, not I'll shush you.
You want us to close the door? Oh, wow. I like this mic.
Right?
I like it.
United Nations.
I like it. Did anybody see the All-In press conference? It was a disaster. we should have had this mic.
Solely because I wasn't there.
That's true. That's
You can
very
actually
true.
move it closer.
I like it.
Okay.
Alrighty. Are we doing questions?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man, you were in a blue suit earlier? Was that you? No,
he's
where's
over
blue
here.
suit?
Right
Oh, there
there.
you are. Oh man, you don't even look alike. What was I thinking? Alrighty. It's very nice though. Summer color, kind of. Can't get away with that in the winter, you know.
I have before.
Have you?
Forced myself to.
Confidence, huh?
Yeah.
That's the key.
Key to show up with your suit on.
I love it. I love it. Go ahead, my
Okay,
man.
yeah.
What's your name?
John, I'm from ProWrestling.net.
With an H? J-O-H-N?
That is correct.
Alrighty.
Okay, great to have you back in the Bay Area. The reason I bring that up is because I think the last time you were around here was in the Cow Palace, or that's just what I remember. It was against, both you, Brandi, Joey Ryan, and Candace were in the ring. Lots of stuff happened. But I remember, yes, steel cage. So how is it being back? Because I remember you mentioning several times how important it is to wrestle in the Cow Palace and in the Bay Area for you.
Well, I mean, wrestling historians will tell you how important this area is. It's going to sound, I don't know if this is off-putting or if it's a little bit more just realistic, is San Francisco reminds me a lot of where I come from. And when I say that, I mean Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
As far as a market that used to be service for wrestling on a regular basis and is no longer.
Mm-hmm.
And why? I don't understand, because San Francisco is great. And the Cow Palace is great. Daly City, all that. I mean, if you take a look at All Pro Wrestling, that's what we were talking about. All Pro Wrestling is, when everybody asks me, what are your top 4? I can tell you it's in the top 4. That's why I kept going. It reminds me a lot of Atlanta, and it reminds me of, I hope in 5 years, if we're having this conversation again, the place is just busting with action, because it deserves it. This is, Ray Stevens. I asked Dusty Rhodes and I asked Ric Flair who their favorite wrestler of all time is, and they both literally told me Ray Stevens. So, there's just a lot of history here, and I'd like to add to the history. Is it okay that I'm breathing into this mic so much? Is that okay?
As long as it's with them.
Okay, yeah.
You mentioned kind of the.
Oh man, I thought you were a ventriloquist for a second because it looked like it came from you. It looked like it came from. What's your name, man?
My name's Nick.
Nick?
That's my name.
Oh.
Anybody ever call you Slick Nick?
My father did once.
Just once, huh?
Just once. He made the joke.
Oh, I
and
would've.
never again.
I would have thought that's like a cool thing, Slick Nick, huh? Did you have a nickname, babe?
No.
No? No. Come on, you had a nickname, huh?
No, I didn't have
No nickname?
What do you do with Brandi?
Brandi?
Yeah, that's it, right? I was Code Man. Code Man, I hated it. Hated it. And then nobody could spell it right, and they put CODMAN, which is like Cod Man. Like I'm a fisherman or something. You had a question, right?
I did.
Yeah.
So you talk about making history here in the Bay Area. So this match could have implications with the leader of Bullet Club. So what does Bullet Club mean to you? You know, either the name itself, the logo itself, or overall as a product, what does it mean to you?
I hate this term, but it's genuine opportunity. But also I've taken kind of a adversarial slant towards the Bullet Club, and here's why. Slapping Bullet Club on your gear and that beautiful Bullet Club music, all that stuff, that should be a portion of your identity. A portion, not your entire identity. If you're just in the Bullet Club, well, basically you're just saying, well, I was second to, you know, Finn Balor, and I was second to AJ Styles, and now you'd be saying I was second to Kenny Omega. When I was asked to join the Bullet Club, I wanted to make sure I joined the Bullet Club, and I added my brand, I added my identity to it, and that's why I fell in with the likes of Matt Nick, Kenny, Hangman, Marty, and that being the elite type crew, because that's a small portion of everybody's identity. Everybody wants to keep going, and they're very proud of it. I love it. I think if I really think about when they asked me to do it, it didn't fit at all, and now I feel like very fitting.
You mentioned the sort of the smoke and mirrors.
Whoa, I know
hey,
you.
Buddy.
Are you Baby Huey or is
I'm
he
Bimbo
Baby?
Jimbo.
You're
You
Bimbo
named me,
Jimbo.
Speaking of identities.
We did an interview. We've done many interviews, but you did one of the longer Stardust interviews,
Yes,
huh?
sir. Yeah, but
So this one won't be.
You guys were getting ready to move, so.
This won't be near as entertaining.
No.
Did we mind meld?
We did. We docked.
Oh.
It was incredible.
Man.
Wow.
Oh God.
A couple minutes of that time.
What the hell was I thinking? Did I read your mind?
You did. All bad things.
Stardust had them powers, man. He did. What's your question, bud?
You were talking about sort of the smoke and mirrors and the wrestling media and stuff like that, maybe some of the criticism you face. Do you sort of, I mean, just this rise that you've had and all the success, do you take sort of special pride in proving those people wrong and sort of anything like that? Get a little bit extra something going for that?
Well, I think we don't like to be negative, right? I think it's real easy to do that, but it comes from a negative place. And if I've learned anything in the last just 6 months, is please your base, your core fans who are on the bandwagon. They're there. So service them. I think a real recipe for disaster for any wrestler or promoter, for that matter, is to try and please everyone. In this day and age, it seems very difficult versus pleasing the ones that are there. And you'll gain more, I think, actually, by doing that. I definitely get a smile on my face when I prove a critic wrong, or someone who's been criticized what I've done changes their tune, but it's not as good as when somebody comes up to you at an autograph signing and they've met you 100 times and they still wanted to meet you again. Like that's better. So I try to come at it from a standpoint of positivity, unless I'm just smashed, and then it's pretty negative. But I save that for the weekends. I don't know, but I try to come at it from a standpoint of positivity for sure.
Cody, what made you change your hair color back?
You want to answer that one?
A recent business endeavor has made him change his hair back.
That was very vague. It was vague.
I am the queen of vague. If you follow me at all on social media, I'm super frustrating, but I always have substance. So I never say anything vague unless it means something big.
Well, some in the room know, or one. I got called to set. I got called to do a TV show. Hopefully we can break that news in the next soon. Hopefully, but it doesn't affect any of my wrestling dates at all, which means I'll be running, kind of burning things at both ends, but production's gonna fly me to every show I had on the books. I'm not missing a damn thing, and it's exactly the type of career I was looking to. I was kind of looking at my 2-year plan yesterday for what I want, and moving into a potential maybe do a feature-length film, but also keep everything I have with wrestling, because if I lose the wrestling part of my identity, then I don't have a clue who I am anymore. So yeah, I'm very happy about it, but they said no on the blonde, so here we are.
Question for Brandi. Question for Brandi. I think with Cody.
This is Justin Barrasso, by the way.
You got it right.
Thank you.
If somebody said it was Basario.
It's a nice.
Basario.
I've heard worse.
Do you know who said that, by the way?
No.
Kenny.
Did he?
Yes.
Yeah.
And how could he get that? Did you do that? Did you tell him it was Basario?
It's close enough.
Do you like Basario?
I prefer the name just because of the roots.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Brandi, you had a question for me. I'm sorry.
I know that Cody had so much to prove post WWE, but there's a family lineage. There's so much history. When you look at your success, Brandi Rhodes, like you have no business. I know you're next to Cody, but wrestling the fan base is so, in a positive way, devoted, dedicated, and they weed out those who don't belong or don't deserve or aren't good enough. But like you thrive under this spotlight, not just because you're next to Cody, because you're doing things that are compelling. You've been a big part of the success too. Talk about your journey a little bit too. I mean, you're a big piece of who Cody is, not because of Cody, because of Brandi.
Well, first, can you just draft all of that in a tweet, and then I'll retweet that for everybody who doesn't agree with you?
Try, yeah.
Well, thank you. That's very nice of you. I think we are business-minded alike in that we don't. A lot of what he was saying with Bullet Club, the same as for me with Rhodes. It's not my whole identity. I have a lot to offer, and I'm confident in that in many ways, in the ring, out of the ring, at ringside. So I just continue to work on what I know I do best, and he works on what he knows he does best, and then sometimes those things come together and they're great. But I've learned early, when, like you said, when you try to do too much for too many different people, there's no way to please everybody. I know that in wrestling, what's important to me is I have to like it, and a lot of people don't, but a ton of people do, and they see the vision, and they appreciate it, and they see the work, and that's worth so much more than one person who just isn't going to like anything I do, because they're just not going to like what I do in general. So
Wrestle Kingdom the highlight, or something you did in the ring?
Well, Wrestle Kingdom definitely is one of my highlights. One of my biggest highlights was wrestling myself at Kurikan Hall. And then my collarbone was broken, I think, 2 days later, so that kind of sullied that for me a little bit. But it still was, that was my best in-ring day ever.
Show them the medal.
No, we're not going to do that. There's the x-rays online.
How's your shoulder holding up right now?
My shoulder is completely healed. It has the metal plate in it, so eventually that's going to come out, which I kind of wanted to keep that because I thought that was cool, but I'm very bony up here, so it sticks out, and it's not for everyone. But yeah, I'm healed. So when the worthy occasion arises, I'll be back in the ring.
You've been responsible for part of the resurgence of the indie scene and building it back up to where people actually give it the credibility that it hasn't seen in quite a while. How does that feel to be the face of this when Colt Cabana has been out there for a while, Kenny, yourself, and the resurgence of essentially the territories?
Ooh, loaded question. And territories is such a scary word. It shouldn't be this way, if that makes any sense. I take a look at right when I hit the scene, Chris Hero. That was independent wrestling, and he was tearing the house down everywhere and just elbowing people's faces off, and just a stud, just so entertaining, so dynamic. And I bring a very different front to what I do. So to even hear that question is really flattering. But for sure, if you know, I'm a product of all the things that currently surround me. I'm very confident in how hard I work. You know, we have this saying, I'll get on the treadmill next to anybody and outrun them. But some people just have God-given talent. Matt and Nick, God-given talent. And you're talking about Colt Cabana, the king of, you know, do-it-yourself. And then Matt and Nick followed. I'm just a product of that, and I think right place, right time. Even though it seemed like coming from where I was, it seems like the complete wrong place. The fact that you asked that question, right place, right time, and I think this is only gonna get bigger. I think it's only gonna get bigger. I hear people a lot say like wrestling's not as popular as it used to be. Man, you know, some Shawn Michaels told me once, and it's just true. He said, you know how you'll know if you're over? Go to Disneyland and see if anybody stops you. And I think I thought he was, because then he went and told me that he can never go to Disneyland and he's swamped. Okay, we get it. But I've never been more noticeable in terms of that feeling of celebrity than now, which is, it shouldn't be that way. I came from the biggest brand in the world, and they're the house that built me, and I thank them for that, but it's a sign of the times. I think, to answer your question, that's all I am, is a sign of the times. Whoa, a lot of hands. A lot of hands. Whoa, Will, you're in the back there.
Hi.
Will, what's your question?
After the match that Kenny and Okada had at Dominion, do you feel a lot of pressure following that match and following up on it? Do you have are you putting a lot of pressure on yourself to perform up to that standard?
Well, I didn't get to eat anything I wanted to eat on the 4th of July because I was dieting. So that was like, I always put a lot of pressure on myself. I do. I know that's a kind of cop-out answer, but I value everything I do. And I came from the school of opportunity, which, as we know now, is kind of BS. Not everything is an opportunity. But I'm aware. I watched Okada Omega from the curtain. That's a match that will live on for quite some time. It's very special, and it's a sign of the times itself with what's going on, the amount of people that have seen it. But I put pressure on me to do the best me. I'm not Okada. I'm Cody Rhodes, and I think he's just as valuable, and that's what I bring to the Cow Palace tomorrow. But I'd like to be the best Cody Rhodes I can possibly be, and I train really hard. I train like I'm still in wrestling school for this wonderful industry. So I'm not worried about what they did. I'm just looking forward to what we're going to do.
You and Kenny kind of scored off last weekend. You guys had head-to-head events between New Japan and Ring of Honor in the main event. I just want to know, did that have any effect on you as far as like pushing yourself to maybe compete with him directly like that, or just what went through your head knowing that you guys were in the same, time frame competing at that time?
No, I was happy with what Kenny was able to do with CEO. I monitored it really well just because I'm also promoting a show this year, and I want to see how he did. And it's a historic building, but actually a difficult market that he was in. I don't want to get so far ahead of myself. I don't want to be so full of myself that I'm looking at things on that level. Sometimes I got to strip it away and just say it's wrestler versus wrestler. I'm doing one show. I'm not at the level to call myself a promoter yet. And I get what you mean as far as the levels, but there's just choice in the world now. So much good choice. You could choose to watch that. You could check the GIFs out on TDE if you wanted to. You could choose to watch on Honor Club what we were doing. I think when I'm out there, there's nothing better than me, and I really mean that.
Fair enough.
Cody. So.
Baby.
Hey, baby.
Baby Huey. Baby, you know Baby Huey?
Yeah.
You want to know why? He is?
Big fan.
You're the thing?
Yeah. No,
Her dad's a big.
actual Baby Huey.
Who is the actual Baby Huey?
Cartoon character.
Yeah. You named him Baby Huey and you didn't.
I didn't name him.
Oh.
You named
Oh, I thought it was.
He named Bimbo Jimbo.
Oh, okay.
I thought Baby Huey was like a penis related name. Is it not?
No.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm taking
Baby Huey named after the cartoon character. Yes.
Absolutely.
What is your question?
So New Japan Pro Wrestling right now has a lot of momentum going, and they're now expanding here in North America. Third show already up here in San Francisco. I know you said you're not the promoter yet, but with that mindset and even the business mindset, what do you want to see New Japan Pro Wrestling to keep doing, to keep this momentum going and keep expanding here in America?
New Japan Pro Wrestling is you can tell this just from walking in the locker room on day one. They're extremely organized, and they're extremely confident doing what they know they can do. I guess I'd like to see them take a bit of a chance. You don't see you don't see New Japan take that many gambles because it's already a guarantee, especially over in Japan. Osaka Joe sold out. You know, the Tokyo Dome attendance continues to rise. But I'd like to see, I think we'd all like to see, what does New Japan Pro Wrestling look like, not just in San Francisco, but what does it look like in Chicago? What does it look like in New York City? Kind of put your money where your mouth is, and you're all here, you already know this. Nobody can go bell to bell, no company can go bell to bell with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So trust your guys. There's one right there. Trust your guys. Trust Kenny Omega. It kind of reminds me of, some of you may know this, I'm sure you all know it, you know wrestling, but when Ted Turner bought WCW, he made sure he acquired certain assets with that. Ric Flair, for example, that was a big part of the needed Ric Flair, or, you know, they didn't know at the time how much he really wanted Ric Flair, but certain assets, and I see that going on right now. You know, Cuban has placed his bet on New Japan Pro Wrestling and Access TV, and that guy knows business, obviously. So yeah, I'd like to see that chance taken. New York City, you know, I found out the hard way that Staples Center is locked down to WWE.
Really?
They didn't take my call. They did, but you got to take a chance and get out there. That's what choice is, and choice sometimes turns into competition. And yeah, I'd like to see them take that chance. I think they will.
Oh, I think they have to pull him. I'm so sorry.
You got to pull me?
I'm getting the sign, yeah.
Oh, let's do one more.
You got it.
This is Kev.
Yeah.
Big Kev.
I keep you here forever.
Yeah, sorry, I'm really long-winded. I apologize if not everybody got their questions. Kev?
Yes, sir. I was curious with, you talk about the power of wrestling media, and you talk about the independent wrestling boom. All In is sold out in 30 minutes or so. It's
29.
widely discussed on the internet that a very prominent and respected wrestling journalist had a conversation with you, and a certain bet was made regarding selling out tickets. I'm curious if Dave Meltzer has ever settled that bet with you financially.
Oh, we haven't yet.
There are terms?
Dave answered.
Yeah.
I have yet to receive my dollar.
Yeah.
It is going to be signed by Dave Meltzer, so I'm very excited about it. And that Dave was not only forthcoming in the fact that, hey, we did this. Dave is on board. He's there, you know, all in weekend. Even though Conrad wants to call it Starcast weekend, it's all in weekend, and he's on board. He's there. He's a panel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doing a panel.
A couple shows.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Doing 2 shows.
Cool.
So this is we brought the whole family to All In. No matter how much we disagree, agree, criticize, or just kiss each other's ass, everybody is coming. Everybody who loves wrestling, with the exception of like Flip Gordon, gets to be at All In. Everybody's All In, and that's the highlight of my wrestling career. The fact that it's sold out is great, but what we do there, it will matter, and I want to make it matter.
Awesome. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe Hugh's name for the cartoon. He was saying.
It's a really big cartoon.
It's like Huey, like Donald Duck.
Someone behind the door. No, sorry. No, it's separate. Not Disney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a duck.
Nice
Yeah.
to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Thank you guys very
Bye,
much.
everyone.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you, my man. Thank you for pushing me up. Thank you. Sorry you're holding the door open
No, we're getting the air.
That's what I've been fascinated.
There you are, man.
Good questions, guys. You make me proud. That's awesome. Oh, another.
Holy well, you can feel like the air coming in. Got a breeze coming.
Is there more talent coming in for?
Yep, here we go.
All right.
We already got. Maybe
No.
we can open a little bit. It's so warm in here. Come on in. Do you need water? Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leave it open
She's
then.
in the
We'll be okay. And then being quiet.
There's less people.
Yeah.
So is this questions? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, you guys. Let's go first.
Do you think that Juice Robinson has any kind of mental advantage being from North America?
No. No. What do you think about representing the United States? Hang on, was there a second part of the question? I know I cut you off, but was there more you going for there?
No, that was pretty much, yeah, I was going to ask, how you felt about somebody coming in on their home turf, if that gave them any kind of an edge against you.
No, if we want to talk about having mental advantages, I think I've easily got it. Look at his hand and everything like that. Look at his track record in championship matches. I think that outweighs the fact that we're doing this in the States. I've wrestled in the States plenty of times. So no, it's not going to play a part on me. What do you think about representing the United States at championship? I think you're all very lucky to have me here to do it, basically, and you're all welcome.
What do you do for Independence Day as the United States champion?
I was in a pool with my dog and other dogs, basically. So yeah.
What was it like breaking into wrestling in New Zealand compared to being on top of the world right now in New Japan?
I didn't break into wrestling in New Zealand. I think I've done this a bunch of times in interviews. I did wrestle in New Zealand until after I'd been to New Japan. I started in England. There was little to no wrestling scene in New Zealand, so I left to England and started there. Went to New Japan, and it wasn't until a couple years later that I actually had a match in New Zealand.
Wait, you probably get asked this question a lot, but it's probably an ever-evolving answer. Who is Switchblade, and what is Switchblade all about?
Switchblade is exactly what I put in front of you. It's exactly what I say and do. There's a lot of times that I see people making comments that, oh, he did this one time, so the next day he should be saying things like this or doing things like this. No one has control over what I say or do other than myself. People say they think Switchblade should do this. I am the Switchblade, nobody else is. What I put in front of you, what I say, what I do, whatever I choose to do, that is exactly what the Switchblade is, not what anybody else wants.
So how deeply are you going to cut Juice then?
Well, literally, I'll probably, if I did it literally, we can talk about it and stuff, but I'd get arrested and stuff. I can't actually literally kill somebody in there or bring a knife into there, but there's other weapons around the ring and bits and pieces, so the result for him is going to be the same as it always is in the championship matches. I had this match with Paige and people questioned whether I could do that or not, and I told everyone I was going to win. I did, and it's the same thing tomorrow.
How did you come up with the name Switchblade? I think that's just one of the coolest nicknames.
It just kind of, I don't really know. It just felt very natural for what we were going for. I think at first I thought of Sling Blade, but then obviously that's the name of one of Tanahashi's moves, and then within the next second there was, oh, how about this? And then it just kind of stuck.
Who are you most excited to face in your block in the G1 tournament?
Oh, well, I'm the only champion, so I don't really care who I face. They should all be lapping up a chance to face me. So I'm sure they're all very excited for that, see if they can prove themselves and see if they can get a shot at it as well. Obviously the first match with Okada has a little bit more to it. I've told him and the other guys that to watch that because it's a chaos match. I feel like I've been setting a better example recently of what a chaos leader should do and should be. So as far as I'm concerned, that match there is not just a G1 match on the opening night, that's almost 4 chaos as well.
Do you think the competition underestimates New Japan Pro Wrestling?
The competition being...
Say World Wrestling Entertainment?
Oh, those guys. Maybe, but at the same time, those guys know that we have the best wrestlers in the world, hence why they try to take all of them, pretty much. A couple of years ago, there was, how many guys left? There was 4. Was it AJ, Nakamura, Gallows, and Anderson all left? It's very public, the interest that they have in guys like Omega and the Young Bucks and, everybody else. And I can't blame them. It's business. Why wouldn't you want to get the best wrestlers in the world if you're supposed to be the best wrestling company in the world? But we've said it before, and a lot of people know it. That's not a wrestling company. That's a sports entertainment company. We're the best wrestling company in the world. So I can't blame them for wanting to take our wrestlers.
You talk about it being New Japan being the best wrestling promotion in the world, best wrestling company in the world. So is there any interest at all right now, or have you ever thought about, do I want to have this opportunity with WWE? Are you happy where you are with New Japan and thinking you're going to stay here?
It's not even a thought or an option. When guys go there who I do know, they've said, if you want anything or if you're interested, let me know. But it's not an interest. That's not what they put out. Isn't what unenjoy, or what I would put out. We wouldn't be able to do there what we do in New Japan. So no, there's no interest there.
If New Japan puts on a show in New Zealand, you get to defend the title. Would you bring out the All Blacks to do the haka with you?
I don't know if I have the power to get them to do that or not. Sure, we could find some people to set that up, but I feel like that would be more down in RA's track. I'll let him do that, seeing as that's what he does in the ring himself. I'm also not Māori myself, so be a bit more natural for him to do that.
Kenny, Cody, and the Bucks came through, and they talked a lot about outside projects that they're doing to try to, expose the brand outside of just pro wrestling. Are there any outside interests or projects that you'd like to give some attention to help spread your brand in New Japan?
Not overly right now. Those guys have been doing it for a lot longer. I'm more focused on, cementing myself at the top of New Japan. I'm not going to take too much on my plate. This is only within my first year back. It's only been 6-7 months. So I'm not going to try to take on too much all at once. As confident as it may be, I'm not going to overlook too many things as well. So I've got my first G1, so I'm just going to focus on that.
So, because you're the United States champion and representing like the movement towards the United States, what do you think? Either with your help or with this New Japan has to do. What do you think New Japan has to do to sort of this, like I said, expand to the U.S. a little bit more?
I think what they're doing at the moment seems to be working all right. We had those 2 shows on consecutive nights last year. And now we're in the second show this year. Obviously, they're spread apart, much bigger arenas and venues. So it's the type of thing that's going to take time. Quite often in pro wrestling, people expect things to happen overnight. It's not how it is with anything really. It all takes time. Same with the expansion of New Japan in the US. So I think the way they're going about it seems to be going pretty good so far. We're just going to have to see where it goes. The fact that they've got so much more English content, got the commentary, you've got guys like Kevin Kelly there. I think that's a huge factor as well. It makes it more appealing for English-speaking fans to watch when they can actually understand exactly what's going on. Especially when there's things like, if there's any guys that are doing Japanese, talking in the ring in Japanese or things like that, if they can get the translation, they can actually feel like they're watching it and actually really a part of it.
What went into the selection of such a badass suit today, man? You look good.
That's basically it, and you look good, so it just, put it all on. Yeah.
Have you gotten to experience any of the tourist destinations that San Francisco has to offer?
No, I flew in yesterday, and haven't had too much free time since then, and I doubt we will before we go as well. We got this today, shows tomorrow, fly home the next day, and I've got 2.5 days before going back to Japan for the G1. So it's all a quick turnaround. And even just before this, we were in England and I had 2.5 days at home in between. So there's not a lot of extra time.
So you stated that you've only been back for a couple months, 6-7 months. How important was your time away from New Japan Pro Wrestling?
Obviously vital, seeing as I've come back and got this, and then you have guys like David Finlay and obviously Juice Robinson who stayed, and I think David May got lucky and being a 6-man champion for a brief amount of time, whereas you have guys like Juice, have those big opportunities and couldn't capitalize. I come back, one brief speed bump, first match back, and then next singles match I have, I'll beat supposedly the greatest wrestler in the world, Kenny Omega, and take his belt from him. So proof is in the pudding. I think that time away was very important.
So you've had several people like you, like say yourself, Hiromu Takahashi, or there's people who've made the excursions to the U.S. and then came back stronger, more fleshed out characters. What do you think was the best part of your excursion to the U.S. and what did you gain most from?
You have the freedom to make your own choices in terms of wrestling, what you want to do. You're not stuck in New Japan being told by the guys above you or your senpai, hey, no, do this. We did this 20 years ago, so you have to do it now as well. You have a lot more freedom to kind of create what you want to put out in the ring, basically. And I think that's the biggest part of it. And obviously it works out. Takahashi he's the champion right now in the juniors, and I've obviously got this as well. You have guys like Evil who went away a while ago now, but he's been IWGP heavyweight tag champ and they have a big match as well, so it clearly works out for those guys.
Jay, tomorrow, such a big opportunity. Do you want to connect physically, by your action? Do you want to connect an emotional story? I think, again, the Jim Ross calling is such a big opportunity for you to introduce yourself to a larger audience here in America. What's the goal for you tomorrow?
goal is to walk in with us and walk out with it. I don't care what the fans think about me. I don't care if they have a fun time watching our match. That's not what it's about for me. What it's about for me is having this on my shoulder at the start of the night and the end of the night, throughout the G1, you know, being on top of the end of the G1. I don't care about the fans' feelings at the end of the day, because that's not what it's not what is important to me. That's not what gets me paid, and that's not what helps me keep this belt.
Awesome. All right, I think they want you. I think you're done here.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll all be here tomorrow watching you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. See who's next. I guess that juice walking around. You guys need a break?
Intermission. I'm fine.
Doing well. That door being always nice.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. I knew I saw you walking around. Good, okay. We've been waiting for you. Thank you for waiting for us.
Hey, no problem. That's what I'm here for.
All right, guys.
So, intense microphone.
How much does it mean to you to come back to the United States, where you kind of started training, and have an opportunity for to capture the United States Championship?
Man, it's huge, because when I left for Japan, man, I couldn't even walk into a building without getting booed out. Babyface or heel, I don't know. People hated me. And then, thankfully for Japan, people have, you know, oh, he doesn't suck that bad, you know. And then for the U.S. Championship, seeing what we're trying to do in America as a company, I mean, that's the symbol of what we're doing, I think, the U.S. title, you know. So to have that chance, I mean, obviously, I say it every damn interview, but this is the biggest match of my life, again. So, it's huge.
What are your thoughts on your own development as a person and as a wrestler since leaving the auspices of World Wrestling Entertainment?
I think that I am just now more confident, and it's the New Japan system and the New Japan atmosphere is better for me. I don't do really good when I'm like, oh God, if I walk to the right here, I might get fired. I can't perform like that in a thing where you have to be creative and be yourself and let your personality shine through. That's what pro wrestling is, right? I can't do that when I'm scared if I'm gonna get fired. I just remember always like constantly judging myself as I was doing things, like, you know what I mean? Like outside of my head, watching myself, oh, that sucks. And it's just not for me.
I was just out in Daytona for CEO. You were out there. What was your take on just how do you think the show went, and just do you think that is a good sort of way for New Japan to sort of cross over and build more fans, is doing events like that? With
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was really cool because it reminded me, we did some Australian shows maybe a few months ago, and it was kind of the same, like big arenas. It was like 3,000-4,000 people. I don't know how many were at the CEO thing, but it was cool. It was professional. It was in Daytona, but yeah, there's a crossover obviously with people who love video games and people who love pro wrestling, and it was great. What was your question though? I didn't
just do you think that's a good way to build the New Japan brand and sort of get more fans involved? You know, people there to maybe watch Street Fighter, but there's this crazy, awesome wrestling show going on.
And now maybe they're a fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, anytime you can get more fans, yeah, I think it's great.
You talk about getting more fans. After leaving WWE, what does it feel like to kind of look back? Have you ever looked back at your matches with the WWE and thinking, man, who in God's name is that? To where are you now thinking, all these people that looked at me before have seen this new side of me, so what does that feel like?
I don't watch anything that I did in NXT because, you know, I just want it to go away. But I just, now being myself and like going out there and just being Joe Robinson, but just Juice is the name, but I'm just me, you know? And it's so much easier when you don't have to like pretend to be something. Like, I care about the planet and stuff, like everybody does. I care about it, but no, like I'm not, yeah, right, I care about it. But that wasn't me, right? You know, I like being a jerk, you know, but now it's just me. Now I'm just me. Some people are gonna hate me. That's all right. Some people are gonna like me. So it's really feels good to be able to just be yourself. That's what New Japan's letting me do, so it's cool.
So, doing the back and forth thing, like one thing that usually catches a lot of wrestlers who go to Japan is the difference in the crowds, like how we're in the United States it's rah rah and then it's Japan it's respectful and then pops. How was your experience adjusting to the Japanese crowds?
Well, you know, it didn't take me that long, really. I know that sounds weird. It's not because I'm this amazing pro wrestler, but it's just like, oh, yeah, I've always heard that. They don't make a lot of noise in Japan, but they do. And then you just learn, like, oh, in Japan, man, if somebody grabs you for a belly to back suplex and you flip and land on your feet, you're gonna go, whoa! You know, that's just, you learn little tricks along the way. I love the Japanese crowds. They're cool. And, like, even when something bad's happening to me and it's hurting and stuff, they feel it, they know it, and you hear like the noise that they give off is so cool.
No, and I always thought of it as like this an elevated, because I grew up in half Asian, half American family. No, it's just like a respecting, and that's what I thought.
As far as the audience, very polite.
Yeah.
And the other thing, everybody knows what we do and what it is, right? They want to go along for the ride.
You're lost.
That's what I like too, you know, and they love that. They're here, we're gonna watch, they know it's a show, but it's, they want to be polite, and I don't know, it's how I think pro wrestling should be, how I wish it was everywhere. Well, you know, U.S. crowds are cool too. It's just turned into this completely different animal that, I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. When I would go back and watch wrestling from like, when I was a kid, like, you know, 98, 99, the crowd makes such different noises nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
I went to WrestleMania as a fan. I sat in the crowd and watched the whole damn 7 hours. And I was just like, oh. It's cool. I mean, as long as people are entertained, but it's just so different.
Juice, they say that nice guys finish last. You're obviously a nice guy. You're in there tomorrow with Switchblade, seemingly not a nice guy. What's your plan to climb that mountain to get your first New Japan gold?
I'm gonna roll a motherfucker up.
Finally.
No, but I'm not that nice of a guy. I'm okay, whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna fight tomorrow. We're gonna fight. I think it's good. You're not gonna, like I said, you're not gonna see any Ricky Steamboat arm drags. You know, you're not gonna see any tackle drop down, did it again tomorrow. Tomorrow it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna hurt, but it's gonna be fun. And I don't know. So yeah, to answer your question, I'm gonna try to hit him with. Well, I can't use the left hand of God, as he said, but I'm gonna try to hit my finisher, or I'm gonna try to roll a motherfucker up. Yeah. Well, yeah, you know what I mean? Bret Hart rolled everybody up.
How's not swearing going?
What's that?
How's not swearing going?
It's just part of my lexicon. I don't have many words. Fuck is one of them. I'm sorry.
Leave.
Were you gonna ask?
Oh yeah. You were talking about the difference with American and Japanese crowds. Is it different to get ready to perform for New Japan Pro Wrestling for an American crowd? What's that kind of merging dichotomy thing like?
I get nervous, really nervous every time because I'm like, oh my god, they're just gonna see CJ Parker and boo me out of this cow palace. So it's just, it's scary. And I'm really comfortable in front of the Japanese crowd at this point. Like, I feel comfortable. I kind of know what they expect from me, and I know what to expect from them, if you know what I mean. But I don't know what to expect. Every time I wrestle in front of American crowds or European crowds, I'm always like, oh, they're gonna hate me. So I don't know. Tomorrow, I have no idea how they're gonna be. I think that at this point, enough of the stuff that I've done in Japan, people have seen it. At least they know that I'm not shitty little developmental CJ Parker anymore. Yeah. So hopefully I have a little bit of, not respect, but hopefully they cheer me a little.
So Juice, what does it mean for you as far as, I think the big theme amongst everyone here today is that they're super excited to be part of this historical event tomorrow at the Cow Palace. And so what does it mean for you to be part of this new chapter of New Japan Pro Wrestling to be expanding here in the U.S., and it's just getting so much attention all around the world. So for you to be a part of this ride, yeah, what does it mean for you?
Dude, it's so cool. It's so great because I have no idea what the hell they're doing. I know we're coming over here. I have no idea how big this is going to get. I know they want it to get real big. And for me to just have a match tomorrow at the Cow Palace would be cool. To have a match that's like the semi-main event is huge. I'm so, it's exciting and it's unpredictable. I have no idea where we're going, but I know it's somewhere cool. And it's just going to get bigger and bigger. And I think wrestling purists are just, I can't see it ever changing because if you love pro wrestling, the way I like pro wrestling, you're gonna watch New Japan over the other guys. I mean, you get one real cool match on Monday Night Raw, I feel, but other than that, it's a bunch of silly stuff. Sports entertainment. Right? Well, wrestling's entertaining too. New Japan Pro Wrestling is sports entertainment too. Wrestling has always been sports entertainment.
It's entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always thought that.
So, one thing you did point about was the whole walking on eggshells thing in the past.
Yeah.
But what do you call it? Like, one thing I noticed, one cool thing about your story, to make a WWE analogy, like Kalisto, back when he was on Raw and when he's on 205 Live now, it looks like, people seem to perform better when they're simply having fun. But to sidetrack that a little bit, what's the most fun thing about being in Japan right now for you?
Oh my gosh. Well, now that I've been there about 3 years, I'm starting to finally be like, all right, I don't have to get hammered every night. I don't have to go out and stay up late every night at sponsored dinners and just drink and stream karaoke and go crazy. So I'm starting to settle down there. I actually got a Nintendo Switch finally. I'm trying to really keep myself in my hotel room. But just the wrestling, just the fact that once or twice a tour, we're in front of big ass crowds. You know, big sold out shows. The wrestling is just so fun. I love wrestling. I love getting on the bus, driving all day, sitting there, drinking a coffee, and then going out and wrestling. And then afterwards, just wrestling. I love it. I love the food too a lot. Their food is better than ours.
It's healthy.
It's healthy. Yeah. So,
what are your what are your thoughts on older wrestlers that complain that there's not enough story and character nowadays, in wrestling, and it's more based on moves and the athletic performance, but not the character and story? What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with him 100%. I feel like that it's great stuff, right? But it seems like a lot of the same stuff. Like I did that, I went to WrestleMania in New Orleans, and we did a bunch of, I don't know, I had to do WrestleCon, I don't know what it was, but I did a few shows, right, a few independent shows, and I watched a lot of matches. And it's like, man, if I see one more dude do a fake damn dive into a cartwheel round-off, ooh, look at me, I'm gonna just jump off this, wherever I was sitting, it was high. I was gonna kill myself. It's like, I don't know, I don't really like that kind of, I like that kind of wrestling, I love it, but I like the characters and the story, and it doesn't take that many moves. I like the intensity and stuff behind wrestling. I agree with the old-timers that say that in a lot of ways. Not in every case, not everybody's like that, but there are a lot of guys that are just, I guess I would say, move guys. Cool, though. A lot of fans love that shit. I don't care. I like the stories and I don't know. You know what I like. That's what gives you the feels, the costumes, the character, what's this guy gonna say, what's this guy gonna do, that stuff. Like, this guy has an identity. I know what a Kenny Omega is, you know what I mean? He does all the moves, but he tells stories too. Yeah, there is a lot of move guys. I'm sorry, you asked, yeah. Too many move guys, I agree with the old timers. To put it plain and simple.
Do you think that maybe is sort of the source in a company like WWE where you get more of a fan rebellion because they don't have those characters to invest in, so why am I supposed to cheer this guy just because I'm told to for reasons?
Man, I think that the big thing with maybe that WWE is they're not letting just, it seemed like when we used to watch, Stone Cold got over and then he was the guy.
Yeah.
It wasn't the handsome 6'4" guy in the back who's jacked as hell. You're gonna be the top guy, and regardless of what the audience says, we're just gonna make you the top guy. We're gonna do it until they accept it. Well, I don't know if that works. I think it's better off just okay, everybody go. Oh, this guy's getting over. These guys kind of aren't. This guy's really getting over. Maybe this guy should be the guy that we push. That's what I think. I don't know if I even came close to answering your question,
you did.
But I think that's kind of the problem with it. When I watch it, it's like, man, they've never, it's like they've really wanted certain guys to, I don't know, sometimes it doesn't work. You can't force it. It doesn't need to be forced. Somebody's going to get over, push that guy. Like Daniel Bryan, that's why I love that Daniel Bryan stuff so much a few years ago. Man, he refused to not be over. Eventually they were like, fine, you will be in WrestleMania in the main event. Oh, we can't deny him any longer. You know what I mean? And that's good shit.
Who do you feel you've learned the most from in the ring so far in your young career?
In Japan?
Overall.
Oh, it's got to be Tanahashi. And it's not even necessarily like, it's not like he sits me down and is like, all right, and teaches me like, I watch him, and he leads by example. And then he does say little bits and pieces along the way. But I think he's got to be one of the top. And then Dusty Rhodes, too. As far as like talking and promos, and like he believed like what wrestling is just about feeling and emotion. That's all. I want to be like that. So Dusty and Tanahashi.
You don't have to say any names, but does any of your old peers from the past hit you up and say, "Hey, you've done so well in New Japan. Like I'm not having fun anymore. How do I get there? Like, what can I do to take your route?" You know?
Dude, if you knew. So many of my friends, it's like, I get messages all the time. I'm like, man, I haven't talked to you in 3 years. All of a sudden, yeah, we're good friends, but all of a sudden you don't work there. I get a giant, well, it looks like he's looking to get a job. But yeah, it was a lot when, people, that's what you do in wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh, lost my job. I need a job. There's only like 4 places. He's my friend. We'll see what the weather is over there. You know what I mean? But yeah, it happens a lot. It becomes nauseating at times, but
No, I forget.
I'd be doing the same thing.
Did Matt Bloom hook you up? I forget.
Well, yeah, it was kind of like a perfect storm of. So Matt Bloom became my friend because it was like Sweet Tea or something, wrestling with Rhodes, right? And then he would come down and do like an NXT show every once in a while. And then he slowly became like commentator of NXT. And I was doing that CJ Parker stuff, and I don't know, eventually we started talking about like Grateful Dead and like that kind of stuff. And we hit it off, we became friends. Then all of a sudden he was a coach. I was like, oh, this guy's a coach. But we already had that relationship, and then he became the head coach. And I had been talking about leaving for probably a year or so. And then he had always said, well, if you ever do, you could wrestle. Or I could try to get you a look for New Japan. And I would always say, Jesus, get out of here. Me wrestle in New Japan? Because I didn't really, to be honest, at that point, I knew a little bit about it, but I didn't know what to expect. I thought everybody was like Minoru Suzuki versus Yuji Nagata. And I was like, that's not my kind of wrestling. Little did I know, there's also Yanos and Taguchis and Tanahashis, and there's all kinds of everything in wrestling. It's the exact same shit, you know what I mean? But then sorry, I'm rambling. Then the WrestleMania here happened, and I was doing WrestleMania Access, and I was out there wrestling, and they were inducting Fujinami into the Hall of Fame. So Tiger Tori, Tsurubayashi, and a few other people were there, and I had already quit. Everybody knew I had quit. This was my last week, and I was just hanging out with my friends, and they're like, "Tori, you gotta watch this guy, man. He's just quit. Like, bring him to Japan." And then Tori was like, "Oh man, he's good. Okay." And then fast forward 2 months. That's like how it was. It was just, luckily he walked by and watched the monitor when I was acting like a complete asshole in the ring. Though I was like, Shawn Michaels was doing an autograph. This bothers me. I'm glad I had no idea that they were watching, and I was essentially doing like a job interview. I'm tuning up the band, calling myself Mr. WrestleMania Access because Shawn Michaels was doing an autograph signing. You know how those things, the Access, like less than a football field away, but I was just being a complete asshole. And Tori apparently thought it was okay.
I know that you joke a lot, and humor's a big part of your mentality and your style, but and I know moving to Florida is one thing, but there's a lot of sacrifice in what you did too. Obviously, you said there aren't many promotions, but you could have stayed stateside. Can you talk about the sacrifices you made in moving to Japan?
Well, yeah, I don't have a house now. I don't live anywhere. I live in a bag, and I've lived in a bag now since I left WWE like 3 years ago. I live in a suitcase. So that is kind of weird, you know. I always am living in a suitcase. Even when I'm in Chicago at my dad's house, sleeping on a futon, there's my bag right there, just pulling clothes out of it. So that's a bit of a sacrifice. I could have a girlfriend. I probably should have a girlfriend. I don't because I'm in Japan at all times. And So I should be starting a family. But there's a lot of shit that I should be doing right now in my life that I'm not doing because I love pro wrestling so much. But that'll all be fine one day. It'll all work out.
Everybody okay? Oh, good?
Yeah.
One more question? All right.
What games are you playing on the Switch?
Ooh.
Oh, okay, the Zelda. I don't even know what it's called. The Winds of the Earth or some Breath of the Wild. Yeah, that's cool. That's gonna take me about 3 years.
Yeah.
Because if I play I haven't played video games since I was like 13. So I'm trying to stop drinking as much and train more and have something to do in the room. And that is gonna keep me busy. And then I got RBI baseball. It sucks, dude. It's terrible. I like the game, the baseball games where it's like the blue, red, and where you can make the ball move where you want it to move. That's the whole damn fun part of the game. And it's like an arcade piece of crap. I should have bought it.
The old school RBI baseball?
Whatever RBI baseball 2018 for those Switches totally sucks. I would say don't waste your time. Do not buy it. Zelda, yeah.
One more.
How's it feel?
Dude, it's actually starting to feel better the last like week or so. For the first, it's been about 3 weeks. For the first week or week and a half, it just hurt the whole time. Like it was constantly hurting. I probably shouldn't have been wrestling on it either, but the last week it's really gotten a lot better. I mean, I've been when I was home, I was trying to sleep like 12 hours a day. I was trying to eat like so much, and I was taking like calcium and magnesium supplements, and just like icing and be like, please, do good enough to where I don't have a shitty match in San Francisco, please. So I think I'll be okay, but it's still broken.
You ever think about venturing out in the Chicago comedy scene?
Oh no, no. I'd never be a stand-up.
Improv
like
city, buddy.
improv. Oh, I would like to do that, to play around or something like that.
Chicago's improv.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Second
Oh yeah, Second City and stuff.
Improv
Like
Olympic.
Yeah.
The Noise Theater.
that. I would be open to it. I never really thought about it though. I don't know if I'd be any good at it. What's that? Call you? All right, I'll call you.
Bucket list match. We have a list. One person you'd love to wrestle.
That's alive right now?
That's alive right now. Like dream match if you could wrestle him next year against someone.
Okada, shit, yeah, he's the main man, man. Anytime you're wrestling him at Wrestle Kingdom main event, you're doing good. Yeah, I guess, yeah. I want to wrestle Okada at main event at Wrestle Kingdom. I'm doing that. Yeah, that's a good bucket list.
Awesome.
Everybody good?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for all your time. They'll be watching tomorrow.
Oh, sweet. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
I like that you're all full of color and then Jay just shows up in this white
I
suit.
know.
That's it.
Like a real asshole.
Not that I don't, but yeah. All white.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, thank you. Hope he doesn't burn me 20 minutes. I don't know. Yumi, is anybody next? Are we done?
I think we're done. I got one more.
Oh, we have one more, okay.
Yeah, Evo and Sonata are coming.
Oh, okay.
And Yumi will translate.
Oh, good.
Cool. Yes. That'll be the last
Look at
one.
everybody,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
I think that John to get it to Jay maybe. All right. Jay White?
Yeah, get Jay White.
It's really hot inside.
We're gonna have snacks and stuff for you guys in the press room too, and little sandwiches, so there'll be food for that whole time. Yeah, it's a long time to be there. Wear comfortable shoes, it's a lot of walking. 72 acres.
Wow.
Places like that.
You can push it. That's not pushing it.
I don't know. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there has to be.
In case it was a No, we own the .NET too.
You can ask Sean out there or somebody.
I'm about that.
Really good one. Oh, buddy, yeah, go ahead. Juice off me, man.
Can I?
Sure. Call me Juice Rodigan.
This is yours too, right?
Yeah.
Cody was so funny, he was staring at the whole time talking to her, doing the best video off of that.
I know, I didn't even like.
He couldn't take his eyes off of it.
I almost
Did you
said
see
something,
that?
but I didn't want him to think
No,
about
I didn't
it.
want to know, because it was a good video.
I was like, I wondered if people sitting right to the camera.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, well, I was like, you know, it was like when I showed up here, I was kind of hoping to get this set up in that room. I was like, oh, this is making sense. Keep it for long.
This
is perfect.
I know.
Yeah.
I couldn't get over it. Like,
Whatever we can facilitate, you know, is what's important.
Don, I like how you guys are running things, how you guys
It's
organize
still going.
stuff.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, we're
It's like,
just
oh.
roll.
It sounds good.
With all these people, I could do separate videos.
No, that's smart.
Yeah.
I love that system you have.
I learned it all from Justin Brand.
Nah.
I owe it all.
Okay.
Nobody else?
Oh, thank you for doing that.
It's over.
Hopefully they'll have short sentences.
Okay. Well,
Do
pictures
short
wise.
questions, everybody. Okay. So easier to translate.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is hide this corner.
If Huey doesn't keep giggling through everything.
Yeah,
you guys got to go cut all this stuff down, right? Right?
Yeah.
You got, oh man.
Nice job on ESPN.
お願いします。
No, I took it. Already took
えっと
it.
ね
Still wasting it.
映ります。はい。
They took so much time off.
So yeah, they want to have the jacket on. So.
Maybe, I don't know, we'll see.
Nice job on ESPN.
Oh. Yes.
Where?
A little bit mortified.
I believe in games because I booked the booth at Lucha Taco, the wrestling game booth. I want to know if the food's any good or not. It's just a gimmick.
Great. He went there, so it's awesome.
The place in St. David.
Yeah. The one in Northville because they have three of them. Two of them have booths and one of them has a wrestling ring. So we're going to Northville one, this is the ring.
あんまりコメントないかもね。まあ、
I have a superstition where I refuse to ever
まあでも意外と聞くかもしれないし。ただちょっと通訳入るんで。
As you trip over the ropes and break your ankle.
I'm in like theater and stupid things like that. I'm a big like sacred space. I don't. Mortals should not walk where others walk, and I'm the same way with wrestling rings. Or pretty much any other stage if I'm seeing the show.
But if it's in a fake cage, you're okay.
I also gotcha. I don't believe in MMA.
Oh yeah, totally.
Had every one.
Yes, they're all very happy.
I like how he plays down that there's a nice guy when he just no way that that's just like a fun guy. Like everything he says and does.
Yeah, he just seems so kind.
Crazy.
Yeah, Juice is a nice boy.
Yeah, but so is Jay when he's playing up the
Sure.
Yeah.
I know,
When I asked him
right?
about seeing any sites in San Francisco, I was also sort of just be like, really? Why would I? Yeah, he's like super deal.
I know, I heard about this. That was funny. I was cracking up. He played it well.
No, he's a good heel, man. I like that he keeps it that way.
I know, right? Good thing he has his glasses on, probably because then his eyes would be laughing or something.
By the way, I wanted to ask you, how excited are you about the
In case there's a.
Very. I'm getting into that when I get back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you about
Contrary
that.
this now I'm doing.
Okay, because I
Let's start stuff early.
I interviewed Dave already, so.
You did, okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna run that next week because
Okay.
Glow dropped last week, so.
Yeah.
Giving that a little buffer.
What?
Season 2 is better than season 1.
It is? The first episode I wasn't like,
Nice.
Yeah,
It's
but
season 8, I'll give you a spoiler later. Episode 8 really bugged me.
It's not like
Some of us gotta work.
I got bored.
it's not like I missed it on a Monday. Now I gotta wait
No,
the
it
next
picks up.
week. It's all right there.
Episode 8 is the actual
Spend one day.
TV show that's
I'm sure you're up at 3 in the morning that day.
God, no.
I enjoyed by like you said, like you said 7
I feel like I
to 10 or whatever it was, like towards the end.
She was just so annoying, vague questions. I don't blame her. I know. She's like, oh, I can't take much of her.
Then you're not gonna like the rest of the season.
I know, I don't say. I got to finish one more Handmaid's Tale. We're all into that.
Those,
Main
you know,
Scale
I've
and
never
Flow.
seen an episode of Main Scale, and I sat with them at Critics' Choice.
And that's not that great.
You got lucky.
Yeah, I'm just like, you know, because it was their table, and I'm just like, I've never seen this show with these people talk.
Am I gonna see you at the TCA at all?
You know, I haven't signed up for TCA yet. I gotta do it.
You gotta call the networks, already.
Yeah, because I missed the deadline, so I think next one's what?
March.
March?
No, the press tour starts the 25th.
Oh, okay, so yeah, March, whatever.
Yeah. Season 2.
But you can go to any network you like, you can sign up for the meeting, contact the network.
Okay.
I'll move over closer to this side so you can just hang out there.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
It was funny though because I was like,
Because I'm doing I'm on the selection committee for Critics' Choice documentaries. So I got enough of that to worry about before worrying about TV. Are you gonna be in San Diego for Comic Con?
And then I was like, yeah, you know, get me in here right now for Raw.
There's a slight chance.
I'm gonna get an Emmy before WWE.
It's funny, they want a piece of it.
There's not as many people there, I mean, they're pulling out, the names are pulling out at Comic-Con.
Yeah. Well, Disney's also pulling out a lot of stuff because they have their own people.
Yeah, Disney wants D23 to come.
Yeah. D23 is a giant Disney store. You know, with a couple of
And it works, the formula works.
Okay, well, they do like the Star Wars celebration things too for Star Wars, like they want.
Right, but Star Wars
It's like tonight.
I mean, you're very wrong, but that's fine.
Did you not see Last Jedi?
The Last Jedi.
We're lucky to get the Rock.
Star Wars post 1983 is not there anymore.
Yeah, no, I'm good right here.
Like it makes me long for the prequels.
Okay, short questions, Urban.
よろしくお願いします。
生放送。
いや、撮っているのと、後で映像
I'll start. Are you at all worried about Chris Jericho getting involved in LAJ business at G1?
G1 で、クリス・ジェリコが NJPW に絡んでくることに関して何か恐れていませんか？
全く恐れていないし、むしろエントリーされてないということは、やつは自分から逃げてんじゃないか気持ちはあります。勇気があるなら G1 出てみる。
So no worries at all. And since he's not enlisted in G1, it seems that he is backing away. He is afraid of G1. So if you are truly trying to come, I mean, why not compete at G1?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Do you have any respect for the Young Bucks?
ヤングバックスに対してリスペクトはありますか？
会見でも言った通り、彼らは世界でベストのタッグチームだと思ってる部分がある。
As I said in the press conference, I think that they might be the best tag team in the world.
Why is Naito the right leader for LIJ?
LIJ のリーダーが内藤である必然性っていうのは。
俺らの中では誰がリーダーとかっていうのはないということをまず、世界の人に教えていて。
I want the world to know that between us, there's no leader between LIJ. So I want the whole world to know that.
Why do you think America is so excited to see New Japan live?
なぜアメリカで新日本の生中継というか生放送が行われることにみんなエキサイトしてるんだと思います。
新日本リングが一番だから。
It's because New Japan's ring is the number one.
I have another question. What are your thoughts on Kenny Omega's comments that Japanese wrestlers are lazier than American wrestlers?
ケニーのコメントで、日本人レスラー、アメリカ人レスラー、勤勉じゃないっていうコメントがあったんですよ。どう？
ただただベラベラ長く喋ってることよりも短く短編的に言いたいことを伝える方がスマートだと俺は思う。
I think it's smarter to be brief and to the point, short, rather than speaking and talking long and lengthy, doing those kind of lengthy talks.
Thank you.
As Japanese superstars, do you guys plan on making yourselves bigger superstars in the United States and elevating your celebrity status, if you will?
今すでに日本でスーパースターなわけですけれども、アメリカでもっともっと有名になっていきたいという思いはあります。
ここは明日 IWGP タッグのベルトを取ってさらにイーグル真田の名前を世界に轟かせて俺らの世界に世界を染め上げていくから楽しみにしてくれ。
Just look forward for tomorrow. We will win the tag team championship, and the world will know Evo and Sana's name more than they know now.
Question for Sanada. How was it to compare? How was it working for Kenji Muto in the past compared to working with New Japan now in your growth?
仕事をしていた時と今新日本でやってる時の違い。 More wrestlers, more talents in New Japan.
Everybody good? Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. No, thank you. That's good. Yeah. You guys, everybody good about instructions for parking? Have any questions about tomorrow? Everybody okay? Or is there anything
That's
about
it, that's it.
parking about tomorrow? Anything? Pole B or something they said to park by?
Yeah, so you just through the main entrance, they'll have everybody's names there at the front. They'll guide you where to go, but it's under all the parking lots have like street signs or not street signs, but street lights that have the numbers on it. So they'll have you park by either B or C, and then from there you'll see our press check-in table. We'll be right there, separate from the regular ones. You have to wait long security lines.
Yeah, but football field. It's really nice right by there.
Yeah, it'll be quick going back and forth.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing all of your family here tonight. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you, sir. Where's my homie? I'm right here. What? So where's my homie? I said I'm right here.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah. Right a little bit. Yeah. Which one do you bring? Yeah.
Huh?
They're really
good friends.
Good one. Mike Tyson too, I think. Yeah. It's a badass birthday, man. Nope.
You go, man. Yeah. You want to end this one? All good. Okay. Oh God, my fucking back is killing me. I stood in like the worst position physically possible. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, how'd you not notice that? We were just in this room for the back That was good. That was good.
What's your name again? Sorry, I didn't catch it.
So I'm Nick from Pro Wrestling Unlimited. We've actually
Nick!
talked back and forth.
Dude! What's going on?
Nice
What's your name? Tim, nice to meet you. Okay, dude. Great to meet you in person.
Yeah, finally, man.
Awesome. I know, because like one of the shows, APW show or something, you said you can make it, whatever.
Yeah, it was.
I
think it was a big time wrestling show.
A big time.
Yeah, I was planning on going, and something came up, and I was like, fuck, can't make it.
Awesome, man. Oh, dude, guys, congrats on everything you're doing so far.
Thanks, man. We just hit 100K subs on YouTube. Awesome. We've been doing that, and it's been phenomenal.
It's really good.
Thanks, man.
And it's just two doing
Yeah, two of us. We have a writer from Canada on our website who just he messaged us one day. He was like, "Hey, can I just write Raw and SmackDown reviews on your website?" And we were like, "Okay." He goes, "Awesome, I'll get on that now." And I was like, "Cool, man." So it's just the three of us killing it.
Yeah, it's awesome. See you guys out here as well. So it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, man.
I'm going to EPW tonight.
I fucking want to, man.
Thinking about it.
I want
It
to.
kind of sounds like, part of it is, you know how WrestleMania and NXT the night before, it's like, I wonder if the vibe tonight is a good way to kind of get everyone pumped up for tomorrow.
I hope so.
That's what I kind of was thinking, like, oh, maybe tonight might be cool going to check out.
Yeah, for sure. We might do it. Why not?
But yeah, see how it plays out and stuff like that. You guys, aren't you in Fremont?
I'm in Union City.
Union City, okay.
Yeah.
I'm from Fresno.
Did you drive a 5-5?
Boy, he had a fun drive. He gets
I had
halfway, he gets switched set, has to fucking turn back around.
Why?
Well, I bought a car last weekend, and I'm driving up here, and the transmission starts messing up. But I stopped at a shop. They had to flush the transmission. I called the dealership I bought the car from, and I'm like, you guys need to check this out, because they said this is a pre-existing issue from before I bought the car.
Okay.
So they said, bring us the car, we'll have our mechanic look at it, and they gave me a loaner for the weekend.
Okay. Well,
give them the
So, I mean, overall, I got here 6 hours later than I wanted to last night, but...
Oh, okay. Yesterday, I was like scrambling today.
And it all worked out because I was really not supposed to come up here and like leave Fresno till 7, but I had some scheduling changes, so I was able to leave at 12. If I would have left at 7, I would have been totally screwed.
We got to the Sutter Hotel in Oakland.
Oh, Lord.
Holy fuck, we walked in there. Imagine like a college dorm room, but then think of that as a prison.
We're in Oakland.
Oh, okay.
It's like Jefferson.
It's on Jefferson 14th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, now I know why it was so cheap.
It's
Gotcha. Don't mind me, I'm gonna start.
Communal shower and bathroom. And we were just like, we look at each other and we go, look, I'm gonna pretend to be on the phone. We're gonna pretend like our boss told us we don't need to be here. We're gonna try to cancel it. And he was like, yeah, I'll cancel it for you guys. I think he saw through it too.
He's just like, oh yeah, you can cancel it. So he had that look on his face like it happened.
So you're staying down in Union City, you just want to stay up in Oakland? Is that...
Well, because we thought it was going to be easier for us to get work done, because in my house there's like 10,000 people living there, so it's hard to do any bit of shows. But, so we figured we'll just go to Oakland, it'll be close to the center. Now we gotta play some fucking Fremont, Newark area. So, not too worried.
You got plans for that. So what's next for you guys today?
Go buy a fucking tripod.
Oh,
we showed up here and we were like, oh, we don't have tripods. Oh yeah.
Sweet. Thank you very much.
I know it's a little surreal, right?
I know.
Well, and the hair in person.
Yes.
We the last time for Strong Style Evolved, he's done interviews in Tanahashi came back conditionally. And half the questions, I mean, someone asked him about his hair, and he just talked about it for like 15 minutes, just about their products, about their cross numbers. Longer than expected, like that was his trigger question. Just noticed.
Yes! I look for him. They believe that's called being a mark.
Well, we're at live office, so yeah, so exactly. AEG is a part owner.
That's
So
awesome.
AEG owns that whole Staples Center complex, so they set us up in there where they're overlooking the freaking Staples, which is great because my record every question at Staples Center. And there's, so people take like, anyone.
I didn't really make fun of it because a lot of it wasn't that important. I recorded.
I got the most because I realized I was still recording 17 minutes. I was like, alright, that works.
I got to ask just a question.
I got the slip.
It's not bad. And then you guys, where's the
Yeah, that's fine.
So we're over on outside North Beach,
okay.
Downtown San Francisco, Broadway, Battery. So
Gotcha.
it's not too far from like
Here's it.
Yeah. Good area just to kind of be in and have stuff to do.
But yeah, should probably get a memory card too.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, we probably.
Do
you think we'll need a memory card?
Yale pretty much took over our old building.
Interesting.
So everyone in there had to move out.
Yeah.
So
I actually didn't think I'd even ask the question.
Once you get up to North Beach, you get all the
That's what it's all
exactly.
So really cool. I mean, it's not gonna be, especially plus Chinatown is just
right.
Yeah.
So you guys all Bay Area natives?
Yeah, I'm from Alameda and
tickets would be $30 each after tax.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to Monterey for that.
Are you really?
So they do have some really good matches on there.
What are you guys saying?
Well, they've got
The Marriott.
Okay.
I got one for the wedding. Like I thought I was brilliant. I signed up for like the Super Marriott where there's some crazy bonuses. We just flew past that in a heartbeat. So it's covering all of our hotels that we're doing. We're going up the coast.
Yeah, I believe it's Flip Gordon and fucking Saudi Silk Rollins.
Santa Barbara.
We talked to him.
Monterey and do the aquarium and all this. I grew up in Indiana.
Okay.
So,
They have actual matches. They have like.
What year your cousin that live in Antioch?
Why?
I know. That's a good question.
Because they probably lost.
That's right.
You can still afford to live there.
My favorite thing about all of wrestling.
Buddy of mine, the mob taught there. It was Kingston.
Sounds familiar.
Taught government.
Which one do you want to get up?
I don't remember the name.
Okay, we're gonna get going.
Hey,
I'll see you
tomorrow?
tomorrow.
Yeah. What time are you coming tomorrow?
I'm gonna head out.
2 won't have the press room open, doors open at 3:30, so it depends on how long you want to chill in our press room for.
Yeah, I'll chill for a little while and try to get a $90 t-shirt.
There you go.
Right, yeah. You want to. It's probably a good idea to be in there right when the doors open, because where no one's allowed like in the venue because they do like their run-throughs and stuff.
Yeah.
Georgia. Carol? Yeah. I know. Yeah. I mean, you
Alright, man. You gonna get out of here? What fucking Brad Shepard deal?
I don't know. I never understood.
He said, I'm not a big wrestling or video game person, but there's something big at the convention center and I'll be gangbusters.
Huh?
WrestleBook said, I'm not big on video games. I know if I don't know if it's showcase mode for remote story mode or whatever. All I know is some big aspect of the game feature around gameplay.
Diner.
Highly doubt that.
Cable car cafe.
Highly doubt. I wonder if any of that recorded.
I could see that because it could be a selling point for the game. They think that people
Whole press conference recorded.